Let's go. And we're in the well. Okay.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Okay. Nothing. What furniture ought to go in the central room? Put a hole in the ground! That's not a hole, it's a table. Along the wall of the room. Let's have a huge picture of a horse. Those are chairs. A skylight. We'll put live testicles on each corner. Yes! Oh, come on. Test the coils. We already have a table. Tables were invented in 1935. Apparently. What?
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Oh my god. Oh, jeez.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Please walk forward. Okay, walk forward. How to escape any prison environment. Following the instructions carefully. Take care that we remember every step. First, click on this table. Table. Photo frame. Turn the floor lamp off and then back on again. Off. Move it over. Ha! Wrecked. And now shells. In a real prison, they escape now. Turn back to the start for taking the prison. God, this music's loud! It's new music, it's just sort of loud. Return. Hey. Now we must escape prison by clicking on tables. Oh, the tables.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. Oh. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on?
Inception!
But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going.
Spiral.
And then he hits on something.
Oh, what is it?
And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Right. Where am I? Why is it so dark? Okay. The lamppost is here. I'm gonna stop jumping. I presume Hello. It is me. Oh. Okay.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
This is weird. Basically him talking to himself, right?
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay.
I can't trust myself.
Wouldn't that be nice?
No. Well, actually, probably. August now. 2009.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself? To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the 2 doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Should I go in here? Oh, it's a person who's cleaning. Oh, the chat system has changed. Oh.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games,
yes,
including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on.
Strange music in the background.
From here on out, he begins
Can I please turn the music off? No. No, that's the wrong settings. Clever. What?
Putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work.
If this is
and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
To kill someone. No. No. Table. Ugh. Soul? What's a soul? No, I know what a soul is. Yeah. Effort. Oh dear. Oh yeah, go. She's insights. ... That's a very interesting insight. Yeah. Yeah, cool. No, alright. That helps me. The top things. Oh, bookshelf. Bookshelf. Again, what?
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful. I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
And escape. Nah.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Let me guess, it went to hell after this. Question. Do you enjoy this?
Of course,
No.
it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Standing in the dark space. Fight me. You can't control me. Thug life. I didn't choose thug life. Thug life chose me. Where the hood at? God damn it, Skyperino. Oh.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Interesting. Interesting.
This one gets a bit goofy.
Okay. What's this? What do you come here to do? Was it improve your life? No. 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 Oh, I moved. Perfection is impossible. This guy. I'm just gonna ignore those Sky messages. In fact, wait. Fed up with this. I moved again. Ah, I moved again. No, it's not. Perfection is impossible. Effortless. So easy, eh? Easy?
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts. And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are.
Aha!
Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Let's not say the things. Anyone want to do some ecstasy after this? Oh dear. Oh look, something's coming out of the back of the room. It's a weird hole, black hole thing. It's coming for you, it's going to destroy you.
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
2010. Okay. We are in a room, and there is
This
a
one
stage.
took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Okay. Ah! Ah! Laggy light bulbs! Oh god, 15 FPS. Head on the wall. I'm gonna stick my head inside the wall. Let's go. Oh. Professional photographer of animals. Where's the bathroom? bounce around. Do it! Which one of these? Happy. Well, that one. It's a strange conversation. Let's do a bit of bouncing, shall we? Bounce. 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 Oh. Wow. Okay. This is lag. It's a bad thing. Oh, look. Oh, it's the lamp. Stepping back. Okay. Oh. I have to keep going back.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution, social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
Okay.
But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Oh, that's pretty depressing. 5 months to make a new game? Must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. I'm not closing my eyes because I know it's probably a trick. Alright, what is this? Blind, 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 blind. I can't see anything. I'm blind. Oh, the whisper thing. God, no! Okay. What are these things?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Oh, this is gonna get more depressing, isn't it?
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new. If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11.
That's
Now,
a reference.
put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on. You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
These noises are weird. I'm crying in the background.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
2011 now. She. Oh. Alright, well, I think I'll leave this for the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.